How's it going? Wooden Spoon Supercoach here. Makapsu is running away with the top punts. He's up at 73.28 now. He hit Dolphins 13 plus over the weekend. The prize pool and the leading punter at the moment adds up to about $500. So we are giving away half a grand at least at the end of the year this year. So what a first year for the channel, eh? Fuck, how am I going to top this next year? In Supercoach this week, I did a fair bit better. 1386, very good. I feel like I definitely left some points in the bag, but after my last couple of weeks, I brought in Dylan Edwards and captained him. Finally got a decision right. And with 6 trades left and players dropping like flies, it's getting a little bit scary because I really wasn't planning on replacing Keon. I need to get rid of Wishart, and then that would only leave me with 4 more trades for the year. So we've definitely still got a bit more thinking to do. Shout out to Jethro Rinakama, 75 points. Love it. How many people have him? 1% of teams. I love that. He's all mine. My pod, my goat. Shout out to Owen Paddy as well. He got an 80, scoring a double. It's starting to look like I might need to play Paddy over Wishart these days, which is, if you told me that last year, I'd call you crazy. Anyway, let's get into the games. I didn't watch too much this weekend, but I had it on my second monitor while I was doing other shit. So the Dolphins absolutely spanked the Cowboys. Week after week, Isaiah Katoa just keeps making me think, fuck, I wish I got him. He's killing it. Even with the Dolphins missing like all their forwards, he's still just taking the game by the reins and doing some really impressive shit. So at 640k, if Cleary was to not get named this week, then that would mean 2 of the really good games he's got in this 4-game stretch, including the one just gone. If he's only going to get 2 of those good matchups, I can see a world where it's better to trade in Isaiah Katoa and just fade Cleary potentially for the year, because after this month, their draw gets really tough. And yes, it is Cleary, but it's not the same tier of Panthers side. If Cleary gets named this week, however, I think 3 out of 4 of those really good games is worth the trade in, but then you will have to probably keep him for the year when he's got that really tough draw. Considering where I am, I imagine that score's pushed me up to a sort of 3,000th. I think I like Katoa just as the kind of potty option. He is in 18% of teams, which is kind of wild. But yeah, he's definitely a guy I'm keeping my eye on. Herbie Farnworth with the 77's fine. Tabuai Fido with an 89 is something I've been thinking about with all these fullbacks going down. Obviously, I've got Dylan Edwards in now, so I won't be doing it. But if we have a look at his scores, he's just got an 89 after an 129, 66, 85, 91, 44, 81, 74, 46, 124. If we take out the bad back-to-back scores in round 2 and 3, that's like a crazy average for the year. So another pod option that I really do like. How much is he? For 700k, it's a little bit much, but you definitely could do it. I think that's all the relevance for the Dolphins. For the Cowboys, Taulungi has done a hammy. He'll be gone for, I think physio said, 4 to 6 weeks. So if you've got him, he's a definite sell. Can't imagine too many people do have him. Drinkwater with an 87's nice. I nearly flipped the VC option onto Drinkwater before the game, and I'm glad I didn't, because then there's a possibility I would have pulled that loop and missed out on Dylan Edwards' 170 fucking million. So pretty happy with how that turned out for me. Realistically, are we looking at anyone else? I don't think so. They're going like a bit of a busted at the moment. The Insight boys are pretty keen on Nanai. I don't know if they're still keen on him. Realistically, I don't think it's the time of the year to be trading in a 500k guy from a struggling team at your second row forward. Not for me. I don't really see him becoming a keeper. Sharks and Roosters. Blake Bwawi with an 108. He would have been a great option if you brought him in. There was a period where we were tossing him up as an option, but I don't think many people ended up going with it. Yeah, 8% of teams. So you're laughing if you've got him. Nico Hines with a 77, I'm fine with. I sold him to Ezra Mam to fund cash to go Wishart to Cleary or potentially to Isaiah Katoa. So I'm happy with 70s as long as he's not hitting like big tons. I'm not really missing out on much. Cam McInnes with a 68, very good from him. Happy with that. It only took 1 week for me to need him as cover after bringing him down from hooker. He'll take over Keon for me, and I'll probably have to make a trade there, unfortunately, but we'll see. Fanua Blake with a 46. Honestly, if I had more trades, I would have sold him a long time ago. 580k, I bought him at like 700 and something, I'm pretty sure. Honestly, he's just a number for me at this point. He doesn't score tries. I'm over it. I would have brought him in probably around round 12, and I've got a 76 and a 69 out of him, and then just shit scores everywhere else. So, yeah, that's pain. Britton Nickera with a 4. That's fucking rough for everyone who brought him in. 12% of teams. A lot of people would have got hit with that. Managed to dodge it myself. For the Roosters, Angus Crichton with a 70. I really am not keen on him at all. He's not the option he was from last year. Roosters need to start to click a little bit more. I think there's just better options than Crichton this year. Sam Walker with a 66. Yeah, that's decent. 640k. How the fuck did 16 people trade Sam Walker out last week? I'm not going to go over Sam Walker too much. I feel like if you're looking at a halfback at that price range, just go Isaiah Katoa. Connor Watson with a 47, a little bit underwhelming, but the Roosters did get pumped here, so not too upset with that. Teddy with a 37. He's been really underwhelming lately, and he is losing money quickly, and he's probably going to lose even more. If it wasn't for the junk tries in the games against the Tigers and St. George, he'd be looking at a month of 30s. So Teddy is also on my radar of someone I potentially might need to get rid of. Could I go a Teddy to Hammer and have that as my run home? If the Dolphins have a good draw, I don't mind it because they've been hot as fuck. We'll have to look into that. Noah Kanita with a 34. That's fine. He's still averaging a shit ton since I brought him in. Yeah, a 32 last week, but then a ton and a big ton before that. So he's still averaging in the last month about 70 or 80. So nothing wrong with that. Moving on to the glorious Panthers and Rabbitohs. We start off with a beautiful orange Dylan Edwards, 173 points as the captain. Oh man, if you go back to my last video, you'll see that I actually just made like a last minute little change from Teddy to Dylan Edwards. So that would have been an over 200 point swing if I ended up doing that. That would have killed me. I might have stopped uploading for the year if that happened. Casey McLean, anyone still holding on to him? Nice juicy ton there. There isn't really a whole lot of relevance in this Penrith side with the missing players. Toto with a 38. He's got was it a quad or a knee or something? I'm pretty sure it's the injury he was carrying. I'm pretty sure it's the injury he was carrying from Origin. Hold fire on him. For Souths, Alex Johnston, 86. I would have really liked bringing him in if I knew Latrell was going to be out because his output at fullback is really good. 106 last week, 86 this week. If Latrell was to have like a season ender and Alex Johnston was out the back for the rest of the year, I think I would trade him in for Karapani or something. I love that. Who else are we looking at? No one really. Keon. So Keon's injury was, let me check. Keon was an ankle. Don't really know about the severity. Hopefully I can just hold him and he'll be back in a couple of weeks. I would really prefer to not make a trade there, and I imagine everyone else is thinking the same. Raiders pumped the Eels. Seb Chris, Jed Stewart, and Zach Hosking all with tons. Jamal Fogarty slightly behind. A lot of big scores in this game, as you'd expect with the Raiders pumping the Eels. So relevant ones. If you jumped on Jed Stewart, he's actually going to make a good bit of money now. He'll probably go up by like 50k. He'll have a negative break even next week. I feel like there will be a fair few people jumping on that. Negative break even. Winger for the leaders of the comp. Job security's okay. I really don't mind it. Definitely a downgrade option. Anyone holding on to Horsburgh, you'd be pretty stoked. I'd be surprised if you did though. Maybe if you were just trying to save trades. Hudson Young with a 65 is fine. He's still got this ostitis pubis injury. It doesn't appear to be affecting him, but I don't know. We're just not seeing like the barnstorming Hutto. But if he's still going to score 65s and it is affecting him, then I'm fine with that. KO Weeks with a 46 coming back down to earth. That does not represent how well he played. He was electric this game. For the Eels, Zach Lomax updates to a 95. That's nice. So it turns out the Val Holmes versus Zach Lomax debate. Zach Lomax is the clear winner. Val Holmes is out for the year with a shoulder rotator cuff injury. I've had one of those. They fucking suck. It was the one, it's sort of like the back, and the physio had to dig through my fucking armpit with his thumb to massage it. And I have insanely ticklish armpits, so it was fucking torture. Anyway, moving on. Charlie fucking Geimer. Is he still like owned? 6% of teams. That's hilarious. Negative 26 break even. Fucking hell. If you held on to him, well done. It's definitely a lesson to take into next year if you do get a cheapie, and as long as they're not scoring like 12s and shit, if they're just like not getting picked or whatever. A lot of the time they do end up playing later in the year because it's the NRL. There's a shitload of injuries, as we can see. At the end of the year, they start to stack up like fucking no one's business. So we'll keep that in mind for next year if there's a cheapie that we could move on, but we don't really need to. Iongi with a 58, Talon De Silva with a 23, Sam Rani with an 8. Nothing too relevant there. Bulldogs Dragons, Galvin with an 86. I don't know. I feel like I just prefer Ezra Mam than Galvin. Ezra does have low scores in him, but I don't know. Like Galvin's just got this like vibe around him that the kind of people who trade him in are doing it because it's like mid-season transfer. It's like kind of sneaky, unexpected. I don't know. It just kind of feels like forcing a play a little bit. The GOAT, Jethro Reenakama, he's going to have a crazy negative break even next week. I think a lot of people might jump on him. He is basement price. He doesn't have the job security of Jed Stewart. I'm not sure what the injuries are like at the Bulldogs for the wingers, so keep an eye on that before you go trading him in. But I'm so stoked. I nuffed out to him a while ago. Kiraz with a 74 is fine. Kikau and Preston with a 48 and 40 respectively. Lower games for them. If I remember correctly, Kikau either scored or got one taken off him. Probably got one taken off him. I can't be bothered to look. For the Dragons, Gutho scores a ton. I can't imagine many people are holding on to him. He's been absolute toilet. 8%. Yeah, get rid of him if you still got him. And other than Gutho, with no Val Holmes in the team, I feel like the Dragons are just a almost completely irrelevant Supercoach team. Some people may have gone Jaden Sewer. He was a little bit of a pod option last week. I say that, but he's only in 1% of teams, so we'll just move on. I don't want to hear any shit from people saying Manly didn't deserve this win. We had exactly this happen to us. I think it was against the Warriors last year. So to get it done against the fucking Storm, it's just so much sweeter against the Storm. Manly fucking hate the Storm, and it's just so good to get it done. Storm did play like shit, but luckily we still got some good scores out of the relevant guys. So Eli Katoa with a 42, it's alright. It's not alright, but it's Katoa. He's a gun, it doesn't matter. Munster with a 64 and Jerome Hughes with a 76. Absolutely take that in a losing side that only scores 16 points. Very happy with that. Wishart with a 17, which hurts. And I've just realised I've been covering the fucking scores this whole time. Oh, Jesus. Sorry if you like to look while I'm doing it, but hopefully just listening was enough up to now. Kohler and Turbo with a 78 and a 74. Kohler, I've said it a million times, he's been our best this year. Not really a Supercoach option though at centre. Turbo, a 74. He's going to start creeping back up in money. He's actually got a negative break even, which is crazy. My concern with Turbo would be that DCE has a quad niggle that he's going to probably play through, and Garrick's injury as well. So maybe Turbo stands up now. Maybe he's good to go, and this is where we see him fire at all cylinders. But I'd want to see it first before I use a very valuable remaining trade on him. Also, I want to take full responsibility for Garrick getting injured. I don't know what it is this year, but I trade out a high-owned guy, and then he gets injured next week. I did it with Turbo earlier in the year. He was coming up against, I think it was the Eels. It was a crazy matchup. People had him captained. I decided to sell. He got injured. Fletcher Sharp. I liked the price that I was getting for him. Sold him. Next week he ruptures his liver and kidney. Now Garrick. So maybe I should sell Teddy to Hammer, and then Teddy will get a HIA next week or something. The luck has been very up and down for me, but in that regard, it's very up. I don't think many of the other Manly boys are super relevant. Nah, let's move on. What a game this was. Jarrell Skelton and Terrell May both getting tons. Taylon May, for fuck's sake, we've got to... I was calling Terrell Taylon before Taylon was in the team, so I'm going to mix these two up pretty much every time I read their names, so apologies in advance. If you did go Taylon May, he has no stats yet. I don't think you were actually able to bring him in last week, maybe. But it'll be interesting to see what his price is, what his break-even is, and if he's going to keep scoring high like that, then he could be an option, but I don't really want to invest in the Tigers. Likewise with the Titans, Jane Campbell with a 56 is pretty boring. Tino with a 15, so glad I didn't buy him back. I could smell something like this was going to happen. Who else? No one really. Knights Warriors, what a weird score, 15-20. Crazy finish with Halasima off the charge down. Absolute heartbreak for the Knights. Dane Gagai with a 93. Fuck, I wish I kept him. I brought him in as a pod when he was goal kicking when Ponga was out, and then I think the week after I traded him out, he got moved to fullback, and then Ponga got ruled out for the year, and he could have been a good pod. Greg Marzu, popular Supercoach option of the past. Don't like it, especially with that break even. I don't think we're targeting any of the Knights. And for the Warriors, Halasima. He's 482k. If he keeps starting, I don't mind it. He's been getting some pretty good scores. Again, though, it's a valuable trade. If you're trading him in, you're probably wanting to keep him for the rest of the year. So it's a matter of how much do you want him or need him. Aaron Clark with a 57. He had a bit of a niggle as well, I believe. Oh, no, he just came off with cramp. So NRL Physio had a segment saying if Aaron Clark comes off sort of towards the end of the game, 9 times out of 10 it's cramp. So don't go freaking out thinking he's injured himself until you actually hear that that's the case. And who else? Probably just those two, to be honest. So that's it for the scores this week. I think par is around 1300, 1280, that kind of ballpark. I think if you're up over 320, 350, you'll see some good green arrows this week. Any 14s, you're going to rock it up. And any sort of like 1225s and below, you're probably going to drop a few ranks. Alrighty, that's round 20 done and dusted. Don't forget to leave a comment down below with any bet you want for the week of footy coming up, and any winning bets get added to the prize pool. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, appreciate you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for teams lists. Uru.